Hi there US subscribers, and welcome back to the Cameron James Pension Transfer channel. My name is Dominic James Murray, CEO and founder here at Cameron James. So today we're going to be discussing defined contribution pension transfers for USA residents. Why are we discussing this specifically? Well, defined benefit gets a lot of media and press, but most of our clients in the United States have defined contribution pensions which you need to consolidate or transfer down. So firstly, why would you consider doing a defined contribution pension transfer? Well, say you're 50 years old, you live in New York, Miami, wherever you're based now. You maybe started jobs in the UK in your 20s, 30s, maybe your early 40s, then moved over to the US. This probably means that in your path, you've left a bit of a trail of destruction, so to speak, in terms of pensions. You may have one with 2 years here, one with 6 months there, one with 5 years here, maybe one with 10 years there. You have all these small defined contribution pots kind of scattered against different employers. Maybe pension schemes like Aviva, the standard names, Scottish Widows, Zurich, these type of companies in the UK. There's not necessarily anything horrifically wrong with these DC schemes where they are now, but how well managed are they? What valuation statements do you get? What are your annual costs? What was your past performance? How does it compare to your US portfolios? What is it even invested in? When you started that job in the 80s, 90s or the noughties, did they ask you what your risk profile is? The likelihood is no. They would have just invested your money the same as everyone else, or even worse, inside old school DC schemes, they invest you into funds that they make money from. So the Aviva Balanced Portfolio, what is it? It's a BlackRock fund and some iShares funds put together at maybe 10 basis points, which they sell on to you for 50 bips or 75 bips. 50 bips doesn't sound expensive, but it is when they're just repackaging someone else's funds and selling it onto you. It'd be like Cameron James. Our model portfolio cost is around 0.3 for a balanced portfolio. It'd be like us selling this onto someone for 1%. It's criminal. It's not illegal, but it's criminal. So you really want to transfer out of DC pots in the UK to ensure that you can have full control over what your investments are going to be in the long term, to ensure that you can have as much better growth as possible. The other big thing about funds inside DC schemes is typically they're limited, as I just mentioned, to like in-house portfolios. You can't always go and buy BlackRock, iShares, Vanguard, Baillie Gifford. Anything that you're familiar with, the household names you've heard of, you probably can't buy them in your DC scheme. They maybe have 6 or 12 or 18 or 24 funds that you can choose from, all of which have been hand selected by them, and typically they're making some type of money from those funds. So it's really important to be able to consolidate your pension pots in the UK, particularly your DC schemes, whilst living abroad as an expat. You have your life, you have your new job, you have your family, then you have all these pension pots in the background. Can you really say that that money is being managed effectively? Probably not. In the large majority of instances, the DC pots I see in the UK are very poorly run. Particularly the older the scheme, the worse it will be and the higher the charges will be. Very new DC schemes are actually pretty good. I had a client at the moment who's doing a transfer out of their SRDB scheme, and they've just been put into their SRDC scheme. He called me and said, Dominic, I'm just looking through the funds now. Can you let me know? I don't have overexposure to, for example, the US. Can I go through the options with you? And I said to him, oh, you probably just got balanced this. And he said, no, I can pick Baillie Gifford America. I can pick Baillie Gifford Asia Fund. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. So DC schemes are moving forward. They are getting better. But the ones from back in the day, certainly when you were back in the UK, no, not fantastic. Poor value for money. Terrible online service, if any online service at all, no financial advisor, no adjustment to your risk profile. It's just money sitting there which is not growing, which you could definitely be managing more effectively from the United States. So what would you do with a DB pension transfer? Well, first of all, get in touch with ourselves on the website here. You can either click up to contact us, or you can any of the numerous Calendly links, book through for initial consultation with myself or one of our senior financial advisors. We will then do a fact find and risk profile analysis with you. We'll look at your pension values from the UK, and we'll put together a free analysis DC pension transfer report for consolidating your pensions down into an international SIP. The international SIP providers we currently work with are Novia Global and the iPensions platform SIP at the time of recording, obviously subject to change. Both of these allow you to invest in pretty much any underlying funds with our help to ensure that your pension pot will grow successfully over the course of time. I must caveat, obviously we can't guarantee any growth, but obviously we can guarantee that it will be invested in according with your risk profile. And if you look at, for example, the S&P 500 over the course of 30 to 40 years, even if you picked a dart and any ETF of an S&P 500, you would have made circa 10% return for the past 30 years. Imagine if you invested your pension pot now and you make 10% compounded return for the next 10, 20, 30 years, it can be a very large pension asset to either use in your retirement or pass on to your named beneficiaries. So how does the process work from here? We do the fact find defined risk profile, put the report together for you. You read through the report and either say, yes, Dominic or Cameron James Financial Advisor, I understand it. I have a couple of questions on this, couple of questions on that. Then we move ahead with your pension transfer. What actually happens, you sign everything on DocuSign for us. We return it to the SIP provider who's transferring it out. They will then contact your schemes in the UK to initiate the transfer. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. We have to chase the schemes every 4 to 5 working days of our pension chaser department to ensure your transfer gets done and doesn't get left at the bottom of the pile. Once the money has arrived inside your new SIP, we will send you your first valuation statement to show that your money has arrived and it's been invested in the portfolio as per our advice and recommendation report. Then on an ongoing basis, we have our quarterly market analysis, which comes from myself. It started off as a 5 or a 10-minute read. It's now up to about 20-25 minutes per quarter. And then at least once per annum, we want to have a 1-hour conversation with you about what's happening in your life. Has the portfolio underperformed, outperformed the market? And obviously at any point in between that, you have my or your financial advisor's calendar link just to book yourself in on an ad hoc basis as and when you need any advice on your DC pensions, but also anything else you might need. Defined benefit, 401ks in the US, lump sum investing, insurance, anything that you might need, we can service you both in the UK and in the US. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the website. Feel free to have a look around. You can see from the services section above the different services we have: defined contribution, defined benefit, SIPs and QROPs, which are not really relevant for US residents anymore. Guys, I hope this has been valuable. We look forward to receiving your inquiry from over the pond and look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.